he gave his I love you, I love you. You don't love me. You trying to save yourself. I ain't trying to kill you physically. I'm trying to kill your identity and let people see that that's a fraud. We're going to unmask you. We're going to strip you. And we're going to leave you out there naked so that the world can see who you really are, the trembling rat that you are. You want to be a rat? You're the big rat. You're a big chinchilla. To that definition. You look up that definition, and then you look up the choke no joke. The definition of that is rat. You violated the code. You went against the code. So therefore, you became a rat. You became a person that we can say violated the code.
Introduce yourself to the people.
Johnnie Bunting Jr. Basically, I used to be an honor student, used to be a criminal on the street selling drugs, got convicted of murder, did 25 years, 7 months, 5 days, came home and wanted to be an asset to my community. Been working with the kids. I got a car wash. I've employed my people, meaning my black people, my Latinos, my youngsters. I've been going around doing mentoring, doing coaching with the kids, trying to tell kids to stay out of trouble, going to do speaking engagements to kids, motivating people, the downtrodden, also brothers and sisters that are trying to get jobs on welfare. It's a lot I've done in my little 5 years out. Had life parole, did 3 years, got discharged because I showed exemplary behavior. And now I'm here in front of you. I have a YouTube page, Johnnie Bunting Jr. The Force, where I have recently been putting out content because the elephant in the room was I'm Edenwald, and Choke No Joke is from Edenwald. He has a big name out there, and he is part of the witnesses that helped convict me. And if I'm going to be in this platform and he's in this platform, and y'all know each other, yeah, I know good. Now, he sends to someone first that he didn't know me. You know me. I got transcripts with your name on it. I have a statement right here that proves it. Now, my thing is, I ain't asked for no handout from nobody. I have 2 businesses. I drove a 550 Mercedes. I bought a new home in January. I'm not lacking. I could get more, but I'm not lacking. Now, I don't have to beg, borrow, or steal from anybody. So by me saying that he did this, he was going to stand, he was a witness for the people. Point blank. The people's job is to convict the defendant. The defense's job is to get the defendant acquitted. I did not have any witnesses on my behalf. So any witness that testified in my trial was for the people. He gave a rebuttal last week, and in his 2-hour rambling, he was talking about a whole bunch of nothing. And I was actually watching and putting comments in there like, yeah, you a rat. Yeah, I'm the one you told on. I can't remember what I said verbatim, but I was in the house. Now, some people were thinking, listen, this guy's lying because he don't have the paperwork. Let me first and foremost say, I'm not the best at the computer. I've been trying for days to upload trial transcripts and stuff, and it keep getting stuck. I just came home from purchasing a new camera that I can be able to utilize to upload information. So the statements and stuff are forthcoming. Trials transcripts forthcoming. He recanted the statement. I got it right here, right here. So this is the actual statement. The actual statement.
Peace, fam. Pete, do me a favor. Let's, for the people out here listening right now who aren't familiar with exactly the situation that's going on, let's rewind and to the best of your ability, kind of give the people what exactly happened that day you got caught up, given the events going into it, what happened during trial and things like that. Paint the picture for us so we have a better understanding of exactly what's going on.
All right, time to paint the picture. In 1989, I was out there selling drugs. He was out there selling drugs. He was at a building called 1132 is where he lived at. That was a big drug building. I didn't live in Edenwald. I had cousins that lived in Edenwald. They was at another big, powerful building, 1141. I used to get money over there with them. And at this particular time, I was on the south side, the other side of the projects. 1141 was on the north, 1132 was on the south. I was in Bum Square, which is another, for whatever reasons, wasn't getting money in front of his building any longer. So my co-defendant brought him to me because I knew him, but I didn't know him. Meaning I knew his name, I knew who he was, but we wasn't. So he brought him amongst us. It was like, yo, he's cool peoples. Boom, boom, boom. He was one of them dudes that you could stand around in the cold because he runs his mouth all the damn time and he makes you laugh. So he was like a little joke, gossip. Same guy. He's just an older bird. Any rate, my boy was like, listen, he needs to get on, help him out. So gave him a little money to get himself a little package so he can make some money. I got a car. I had a Tempo, which didn't have my picture on it. And I had a car, Honda Accord. Wasn't nothing spectacular. Wasn't a Benz, wasn't a Beamer. But most of the people in the projects had Pumas, Nikes, and Adidas. So I was doing quite well there. At any rate, he had a license. I had a license, so I would let him drive. I would drive. Now, we were going through a little bit of a struggle with the Bum Square because one of the people that was up there hustling alongside of us tried to make a power move. His power move was calling me. I was 17. He was in his 20s. Not sure the exact age, but he had me by about 4 or 5 years. So he basically gave me the ultimatum: either or you take it on a hop. So I told him, yo, he took his work off the block, let me get it in that day. The following day, I start running his people off the block. So long story short, he sent some guys at me. I'm telling you with hindsight, because when it happened, I didn't know he sent nobody at me. Long story short, I got jumped. A package fell. They robbed the package. Wasn't a lot of work, but it was my work. So now I have a black eye. Package gone. And I'm like, yo, I'm irate. Like, things got to happen. It was 2 guys that jumped. I caught one guy the same day because when they jumped me, they had a knife. I picked up the deceased and slammed him. A knife came out of his pocket. I grabbed it and hit him in the chest with it. But the knife bent. It was like one of them kitchen knives, little flimsy kitchen knives. So the knife bent. The other brother went and got a car, jumped up on the sidewalk, tried to hit me. He missed. He kept it pushing. So I threw on a pair of darkies to cover my eyes, jetted. I went and got a knife. You want to play with knives? I'm going to get a knife. I caught him on a block, 227 in Laconia. This is the Bronx, Edenwald Projects right there. Caught him there, sleeping in his car, not sleeping physically, but he was sleeping. You just did something to somebody. You chilling in the car, talking with your windows open. I ran up on him, hit him in the chest, in the driver's seat. He drove off. He survived, but I never saw him again until I seen him in the prison pens, but we were in separate pens. Anyway, now that same day, I seen my uncle and I said, when the see cat, tell him I'm a murderer. And that statement is relevant because I actually still use that statement, even though I don't always say it. I use it to tell the youth, be careful what you say because you can talk things into existence. And because when I actually ran into him, it wasn't in my mind to kill him. But I already said it and put it out there. And so at any rate, ran up on him. The end result was that he perished. Now, that day, The day before that, the night before that, it was me, Choke, my co-defendant, and a young lady. I was tired. It's my vehicle. I was ready to call it a night. He said, listen, yo, I'll pay for a motel. Just let me hold the car. So he paid for the motel. I let him hold the car, and they jetted. Can y'all hear me? Because my...
Loud and clear. Loud and clear, brother. You're good.
That's why I paused. Any rate, he didn't come pick me up when he was supposed to. So we come back to the projects looking for him. We see him chilling. So I get back into the driver's seat and I'm getting ready to breathe. I see a brother. He said, yeah, this dude is over there by Sousa Woods, which is on Baychester Avenue. So I'm like, all right, we're going to get him. At that moment, when I said we're going to get him, I don't know my exact words. Like I'm saying, we're going to get him. We're going to kill him. We're moving on. That point was the time for him to exit stage right, because it was a short walk from where we was at to his house. He had to just cross the projects, 500 feet, 1,000 feet, what have you. It wasn't no mile, half mile, quarter mile. He just had to walk to the corner, cross the street, and go into the building. He chose to keep going with us. We went there, jumped out the car. Caught dude. I had a messed up ankle, so I couldn't run fast. Hit him with the bat. I caught up with him after the fact, hit him up with the knife. Now, come back. We jet. Get arrested later on that day. Now, I'm in the 47th precinct. I don't know how they do it, but back in those days, arrested, it takes you a minute to see the judge. It takes you a minute to get into Rikers Island or the Bronx house or wherever you're going. So I spent like a night in 47 precinct, and I was put in 48 precinct, spent another night. It took me like 3-4 days before I ended up on Rikers Island and able to make a phone call. So when I did make the phone call, I said, listen, get word to my boy, bring my car home, leave it there because it might be hot. I was 17. I didn't know no law, but that was like common sense. I'm locked up for a murder. I know the car was used to leave the scene. It wasn't like there was a ghost town, but it wasn't 100 people out there, but there were people out there.
Right.
People saw it. Now, backing up the day after, and I'm going by my trial minutes to give you this information because what I'm getting ready to say can be proven. May not be verbatim to what I'm saying, but I'm painting the picture for you. June 1st, the incident happened. On June 2nd, 4 people are in the car. My co-defendant's driving. He busts a U-turn on Laconia Avenue, a block away from the precinct. Police pull him over, ask him for his license or registration. He produces my license, temporary license. The police sees it, reads it, asks him for his ID. He gives it. This police officer has no reason to, my name don't ring no bells to him. It means nothing to him. This ain't your license. Where's the guy at? He's home asleep. All right, where's the registration, the paperwork? He looks in the glove compartment. He can't find it. He opens the trunk, looks in it. There's a bat in the trunk. The bat means nothing to the police because it's not a law against carrying a bat in your trunk. Closes the trunk. He gets a citation and a ticket of some sort. They let him go. The police goes back to the precinct sometime later, and in the course of business, he hears my name, Johnnie Bunting, been arrested for murder. Whoa, that's funny. I just stopped the car belonging to Johnnie Bunting. Oh, they tell him, listen, that car might have been used in a crime. It may have some evidence in it. Like I said, don't quote me verbatim. I'm just painting a picture. You see the car, pick it up. Now they did a canvas. And for those who don't know what a canvas is, on the day of the crime, they did a canvas. It happened in front of a particular 2 buildings that was connected together. So the police did a canvas and knocked on every door, asking them, where were you? Did you see something, hear something, what have you? So that's one of the ways that they collected information on the case. They go to the deceased house, the deceased parent's house or whatever, and they speak to them. The deceased parent said, well, listen, at this time, on this date, this person came to the house and said, he's around the corner in bad shape. Okay, who said that? They give the police that person's address. So now another witness is tracked down. My own uncle was out there. Y'all still there?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Right. It just they got him in the hospital. He had pneumonia or something. They questioned him. He said my name. He said my co-defendant name. Nobody said Choke's name. The female that went to the house said my name. She didn't know my co-defendant's name, but once my co-defendant got into a lineup, she picked him out. Now, according to my paperwork, someone called in, an anonymous, and said my co-defendant's name, and my uncle said my co-defendant's name. So it was me who was already arrested, my co-defendant name who was elicited from statements from witnesses, and that's all they was looking for, 2 people. They got me, witnesses, identified, second person. So now they see the car that they're looking for because they didn't do what I said and leave my car home. They're driving a hot car get pulled over. Right away, they tell my co-defendant, you're under arrest. Because that's what they're looking for. They tell Choke, you're under arrest. They wasn't looking for him. You just riding your little hot behind in a car because you just want to pick girls and act like you got something. Any rate, bring him in. Whatever story the police told him to get him to talk, hey, I don't know. Because what I do know, and I learned in prison, doing my own law library research, that the police can lie to you to get you to talk. So if they said, I said something, anybody said something or what have you, to get him to talk, they got him to talk. And I have it in black and white right here, part of his statement, which I sent to you because when I read part of the trial transcript, some people were saying, because I was making fun of it, like I didn't give him a masculine voice. You may have seen it. All right, cool. Any rate, everything I was saying was true. So in regards to that, he put himself out there, and I'm calling him a rat because this is the rule of the streets. You're going to be in the streets, participate in selling the drugs, jumping people, because he had physical altercations. So you're going to be a part of that, the physical side. When it gets down and dirty, you got to hold that down. And he wasn't even smart enough to remain silent. And I'm not saying that at that age, everybody is. But when it came down to it, and it came down for trial, and I spoke to him, he was saying they put pressure on him. They was telling him he's going to get charged with perjury and all this, and he was nervous. So I was like, all right, cool. This is what we're going to do. You're going to come. You're going to testify. All right, cool. But I was planning a sabotage. You're going to come in. You're going to testify. You're going to say you was with me the night before. You drove, went to the motel. You paid for the room and all this. And he would say you didn't see me no more. So you would have satisfied the coming in part for the subpoena. You would have satisfied the part about you getting on the stand, but you would not have satisfied the part about putting me at the scene because I had another witness against me that was there to wrap up everything else. But the thing that she did was she picked another person out of a photo array as her first identification of the suspect. Her second identification was me in a lineup. So I had conflicting identifications in my case. So if it would have been the trial on her testimony and the other witnesses who could not identify anyone, there you have reasonable doubt. With him testify, I know him. We were schoolmates. I know him for years. He got out of the car, ran around the corner, carrying a pouch. I'm not carrying a pouch. There was a pouch around the car or what have you. Came back with blood on his shirt. Doesn't take a person with a law degree, a PhD, associates, or anything to be able to say, he got out of the car, he chased the deceased around the corner, he comes back with blood on his shirt, and the deceased is dead around the corner. What do you put together? And you have another witness is saying that he pulled out a knife and stabbed him. You don't have to say I stabbed him. The other, you were chasing the guy, and when I left your line of sight, I entered hers. That's corroboration. See what I'm saying? It doesn't take a genius to know this. So all this him getting on talking about I love you, you love me. Where's the love? When people ask, and I'm addressing this because these are meritorious questions, and this is stuff that's probably on your mind. What took you so long to bring it out? I brought it out before the internet. In prison, in Rikers Island, showing guys from around the way. In prison up north, showing guys from around the way. But guess what happens? He gets himself in a nice position, working for Dame Dash and Jay-Z and going to parties and doing stuff and being around celebrities. So when guys come home, yo, what's up with the thing before us? Yo, come on, let's go to the club. See these girls, see this. Dude's head is up in the clouds now. Like, and forget Forrest. I'm going to chill and I'm going to have fun and I'm going to do this because they get in their feelings and sensations thinking that I might be able to bag something or they might identify me as somebody. And next thing you know, I'm in. I ain't mad at them. I understand. But now when I come home, people are talking to me, yo, listen, don't mess with him, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yo, listen, why would I? Because if I mess with him and he calls the police and he says something, I got life parole, I'm back. And I ain't made a dime. So I went and lived my life. I understand that you can get caught up into motions and feelings of grandeur and start feeling yourself, I can do this, I'm off. All right, cool. I learned. Let's come home. Let's take care of my community, become an asset to my community, start my own family, do my thing. But now it's time. I'm off parole. I got discharged. The elephant is in the room. It's time to address it. I need closure on this. You need to admit it, brother. And you didn't think I'd be walking around with transcripts for 30 years. But one of the things that I was doing is I was litigating for a lot of years. So I needed those paperwork in order for me to do my litigations. Then it became habit to just keep it. It wasn't a plan. Yo, in 2020, that's going to be the year. No, it just happened that way. But the stuff I have in is true. Somebody said, yo, he might have wrote something, or he might have. All that is meritorious. One of the things I did when I first took a picture of the transcripts, I said the indictment number. I said it, People versus Johnnie Bunting. Indictment number 4883/89, Bronx County. If you don't believe anything that I'm saying and you want to spend a couple of dollars, because it's not expensive.
Right.
Utilize that name, utilize that number, go down to the Bronx County, and you get the same paperwork that I have because it's public record. He went in front of the grand jury. You can't get that. I can't get that. During the trial, the prosecutor was trying to lead him to say certain things that he said in front of the grand jury and in a statement about me carrying a pouch, a knife pouch, which is also called a sheath, out of the car. In the statement I have right here, which I sent you a copy. I'm not sure if you actually saw it yet.
Yes,
but
sir.
It says that. And may I read it? And then you can confirm it post?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Microphone's yours.
This is a police statement. I'm gonna read it from the beginning to the end. Defendant to the end of what's applicable, because it starts going into other witnesses. Mm-hmm. Applicable to Choke No Joke. Defendant Dennis Jackson, deceased Leroy Shower. Facts. At the time and place of occurrence, defendant Dennis Jackson, aka Bandit, previously arrested Johnnie Bunting, aka Force. That's me. Eyewitness Arthur Alston and a girl named Ebony were driving around in Bunting's Honda looking for Leroy Shower. So they're saying we're looking for him, aka Fat Cat. They saw Fat Cat near Sousa Park, is that right on Baychester across the street from the projects. Bandit and Force got out of the car and ran. Bandit came back with a bat in his hands, and Force had left the car with a beige knife pouch in his hands. Blood was on Bunting's shirt. All drove away. Bandit put the bat in the trunk. And it says stenographic statement taken beginning at 11:55 p.m. on 6/6. Statement of eyewitness Arthur Alston. It says Force was holding a beige knife pouch and then in the car. And it says, I consulted with Frank Karen and Supervisor Alan Karen about this case. Karen indicted the previously arrested Bunting. I gave Alston a grand jury subpoena for Thursday, June 8th. Then it goes into other witnesses. This is specific about Alston, aka Choke No Joke, saying that I left the car with a knife pouch, aka also known as sheath. So when I first made the statement to King Erna, when I was talking to King Erna, and I said sheath, when I produced some trial transcripts and he just called it a pouch, I was looked at upon like I was lying because what I produced didn't say the particular word sheath, because a pouch is a pouch could be anything. But when you say sheath, they know that sheath is a pouch designed to hold a knife. Now I produced the paperwork that has the terminology sheath and it's saying knife pouch because there's no reason for me to lie. The truth is bad enough. I don't need to throw no icing on the cake, man. You out there, you hustling, you're part of that life. I took that robbery when I lost what I lost. I took that, I held my end down, and I got mine back. Now, I'm saying that this is not what you're supposed to do. You know, for the kids that's out there, sometimes you got to take that. Like if you get robbed, sometimes some people get robbed and that's it for them. I'm out of the game. I'm not getting robbed no more. That puts them back on the straight and narrow. That's on you. But if you chose to keep it up, then when you do your dirt and then you get caught up, you hold it down. When you running around with people that's doing dirt and they do something, you hold it down. And watch, mark my words, I am the small snowball that rolls down the hill and then it turns into a large snowball, because now guess what's going to happen? Other brothers from around the way that know me, they're going to start coming out saying that he told on them, because I'm not the first. I mean, I might be the first. I'm not the last. I'm not the last. So it's starting to start coming out like, yo, he told on me. He told on me. He told on. Listen, if he want to go around to bodegas trying to bust people and do that, he's been trying to be a detective for years now. And people who've seen him and see his antics, it's good for TV. It's good for TV. People want to see that. People want to laugh. But this is your true nature he's showing. Now, when someone calls him a rat, I ain't no rat. Like, listen, all right, if you're living a civilian life, you want to be Geraldo. Geraldo can do that. You ain't Geraldo. You was out on the street. You admitted I was out there. You want to post a picture after the recent. You want to post a picture. You're in a picture with several felons that did crime and did time and all that. It's supposed to give you your ghetto pass back, bro? Nah. Take that down. That should be an offense. Them brothers in the picture should take that as an offense. Like, you trying to use me to bolster back up your manhood? Bro, when he gave his I love you, you don't love me. You trying to save yourself. I ain't trying to kill you physically. I'm trying to kill your identity and let people see that that's a fraud. We're going to unmask you. We're going to strip you. And we're going to leave you out there naked so that the world can see who you really are, the trembling rat that you are. If you want to be a rat, you're the big rat. You're a big chinchilla. Right? You think you it. Come on, man. I don't need nothing. You're talking about, you should have asked me for something. This is giving him props because this is true. Sometimes you tell the truth, it actually gives the person some credit. Sometimes you tell the truth, it discredits him. What I believe was a screenplay at the time, but it was actually a treatment. I didn't know the difference, but I was trying to put together a movie. I heard about him in the streets doing the tunnel stuff. And so I sent word to him. Listen, I need help. I got a movie script, the screenplay together. Help me find somebody. He said, yo, brother, this is what you do. Turn that into a book. Book thing is popping. Brothers is making money. A brother, Shannon Holmes, shout out to Shannon Holmes. He's from around the way. He spoke to me previously, asked me about this. He's like, yo, he's making money. Like, make some money. So because of him telling me this, I wrote a couple of novels. I made my own company, made my own imprint, wrote it, then got back at him. Yo, I got books out there. Now help me with this. Now this is the brother that told me, turn it into the book and let's make it happen. Now I turned it into a book. Yo, I'm going to give it to Miss Jones. I don't even know who Miss Jones is. He was working with Rap City. That's why I told it Rap City. And he knew people. All right. I sent him copies of the book. He never did that. Now, he want to talk God hour and all this stuff like he knows the 120 lessons and God. All right, listen. If you're dealing with the 120 lessons, you're dealing with God body, haven't you heard that your word is bond? So if you're telling me that you're going to help me push that, and then you don't tell me, then I got an issue with you. Now, do I need him to push the book? No, I don't. Now I'm home. I can do, I ain't the best promoter, but at least I'm in a position where I can help myself. I was helpless at that point, locked down. And he's saying, oh, it's because of that. No, it's not because of that. That's just another notch against you. But it ain't because of that. It's a mountain of violations that he's done. And he tried. I have the recanted statement right here. And I'll send it to you too, so that you know that there's no reason to recant if you ain't do nothing wrong. Come on. The whole play was to sabotage the prosecution since you had to come in. People dodge subpoenas every day. Come on. How soft are you? At any rate, any questions, anything I missed, anything you want to know, shoot, bro. I'm here.
I got a question for the people real quick. Oh God, my fault. All right. Give the people some knowledge on the difference between a civilian and someone in the street. Because there are going to be some people that say, well, you did a crime. You deserve to sit in there. Talk about the difference between civilian and street. You highlighted on it a little bit during your soliloquy, but I wanted to get in depth and just answer that question in particular and why what he did was a violation.
All right. A civilian is a person that gets up in the morning and their daily life consists of being law abiding, regardless of whether it's a 9 to 5, you're on welfare, or you standing on a corner drinking a 40. It doesn't matter. But in your eyes, the police is your friend. The government is your friend. You get into an issue, the police is there to protect you. The government is there to protect you. So when a civilian testifies, they are doing their civil duty. I got no problem with that. All right. Now, when you are on the side of the law, whereas when the police go by, you, they might come stop because you're carrying something that you're not supposed to carry. You're out there selling drugs in your community. You're out there sticking up, out there doing all sorts of crimes. regardless of the actual penal law that you're breaking, you are a part of the street, and the police are not your friend. You're not just out there calling the police to assist you because you don't want the police to come around because they might frisk you. When you are on that side, you should not be running into the courts testifying against anything. And you should be able to accept that if you're on this side and something goes down that you are in connection with, that you have to hold it down. The sad part about it is that some people get into the game, and they get into the game with like a checklist. I'm in the game to sell drugs, check. I'm in the game to stick up, check. Am I in the game for murder? Nope, leave that out. Am I in the game for robbery? Nope, leave that out. And then when some of these things happen and you get caught up, it's like, hold on, that ain't on my checklist. So how can I get out of it? You get out of it by cooperating. Bro, there ain't no checklist. If there is, it wasn't one when I was coming up. They got a checklist now, virtual or paper. I don't know anything about it. But that's why I can understand why some of the people in their comments were like, yo, you do the time, you do the crime, you do the time. Now, I had to answer to the charges. That's part of the process. And the people who come testify, them civilians that lived in that building when they did the canvas and they said, I saw this out the window, yada, yada, yada. I have no issue with them. They did what they're supposed to do. They want their building safe. Something happened in front of your building. You want to feel that you can walk outside tomorrow and don't be assaulted or killed. Got no issue with you. Your brothers who selling drugs and they doing the stick up and they doing all that. If you come outside and somebody run up on you and do something to you, rob you or whatever, you got to handle that. You either accept it and move on, or you address it and you step to that person who did it. The outcome, whatever the outcome may be, you got to hold that down. I did 25 years, 7 months, and 5 days. I wasn't, other than me litigating, trying to get out through those sources and them ways, I wasn't out there trying to get somebody locked up to get some time shaved off my bed. So for people to say he should tell, or it doesn't matter, because he said, I'm not going to do 25 for you. You shouldn't be out there in the street doing crime, because that's a part of that life. There's people that done time that's innocent because they was involved in some type of crime, because when the police come up on you, you got a record. It's easier for any jury to believe it. Oh, you was doing this, that, and the third, so it must have been you. And you could be innocent, but you got to hold that down. So that's my definition. And according to that definition, you look up that definition and then you look up the choke, no joke. The definition of that is rat. You violated the code. You went against the code. So therefore, you became a rat. You became a person that we can say violated the code and snitched. And the things that he's been doing in his daily life, minding people's business, telling on them. I heard going up in stores about some fake condoms or something with a wire on them. These are elements of snitching. These are elements. So it's like, yo, you was built for that. You like a paid informant. That's what you do. So when someone comes out and say, yo, he told on me, it shouldn't be hard to believe. But you should still want proof. But it shouldn't be like, oh, yo, he's just jealous. Jealous of what, bro? Jealous of what? I don't know how much money he got, and I actually don't care. But I ain't seen him on the Forbes list. So evidently he ain't make it to that point where I got to just, break me off. He's always talking about celebrities and this, that, and the third. His personal gripe with Jay-Z and them. I heard he got his jaw broke in Marcy by some guys. And what did he do then? Who did he tell then? Did anybody get arrested then? These are just questions. Y'all can answer it or do your research. I don't know. I don't know the actual answer. I'm just asking questions. But I'm just, everybody knows he ain't built like that.
Right. To the people out there who are going to ask, they will say, like, do you feel like Choke owes you something? Obviously, I mean, he was, you laid out the story. We looked at the paperwork. He was pretty much involved in helping you do 25 years. You know what I mean? His testimony corroborated what they were trying to do. What do you feel like he owes you? What is your message to Choke right now?
If you want to do something for me, you do something for the community because you're selfish. You're out here doing your due, getting your numbers. You're making some money. Your mama's in the projects. Like, I come by the projects every day. I don't even know what she looked like. When I'm driving my Benz down Laconia Avenue, I probably stop at the light and she walked past me. Like, I'm helping the community. I ain't got those big numbers. I've hired kids to work at the car wash to help them make money, to help keep them off the street. Why don't you do something for the community so that you can at least make amends and you pay your debt to society for being the rat that you are? Because on both sides of that, I've done something, a violation, that I paid a debt to my society, and you've done something that was a violation, so you pay your debt to the society. And that's the way you pay me back. I don't need no money from you. I don't want no money from you.
Okay.
Yeah, but another question that I wanted to ask you during the case, man, is the lawyer. Did you actually have a lawyer in your case? Because when you talked about like Choke, because he even said that he was supposed to be testifying on your behalf. Did you have a lawyer that like sat him down and, you know, and sat you guys down and said, all right, this is how it's going to go? Because if you got a defense attorney, everything's going to be on one accord, just like the prosecution's on one accord. So like, you say this, if they ask you this, don't say this. Was that ever a process with you and Choke, or did he just go into that whole process blind? No coaching, no anything?
He was coached by the prosecutor. He was the prosecution's witness in the testimony. In my reading the testimony, and then when I finally upload it properly and you get to read it page by page, you'll see that when my attorney was cross-examining, hold up, I'm going to back up and I'm going to take a moment to teach. When the witness, the party that calls the witness, they have what is called direct testimony when they're actually questioning them. So whenever you see direct testimony, whatever party that is, that's that person's witness. And in this case, the prosecutor called him. So when the prosecutor was questioning him, it was direct examination. Now, called leading. Leading is when you're tailored to get a specific, and you're leading them into it, as opposed to just saying, all right, what happened on June 1st? And you just let the person tell you what happened. Now, if you was saying, did you see him running down the block? Yeah, you're telling him you want him to talk about the running down the block. That's leading. Now, there were several instances where the prosecutor was leading him because he wanted him to get to that. And that's when you object, so on and so forth. So, all right, here's an example so that when you see it, you'll be able to understand what happened. When he asked him who was in the car, he said, all right, myself, meaning him, me, Force, Bandit, and a female. And they said, was anything else in the car? Now, although you might not have been inside of my car in 1989, and I don't remember everything that was inside my car in 1989, what I do remember distinctly is I had a bunch of cassette tapes. You know, cassette tapes was 1989 cassette tapes. Mm-hmm. When the prosecutor said, was there anything else in there? Why is it that the only thing he said was a pouch? Because he was already prepped to talk about, okay, when I say anything else, you go straight to the pouch. You don't talk about the Public Enemy tape that he had, or the Bobby Brown, or you don't talk about that. There's other stuff in the car. But he basically put me, him, my co-defendant, a female in a pouch. That's it. That's everything that's in the car.
But the thing is, though, he made it seem like that he was actually testifying on your behalf, though. I didn't know that he was actually testifying for the prosecution.
He made that statement. And if I'm calling him a snitch, I'm saying he testified for the prosecutor. That's basically what that means. If you're snitching, you're testifying for the prosecution or the government, depending on whether it's a state case or a federal case. If I called him in as my witness, then one or two things happen. He messed up poorly and sabotaged me, or I'm just as dumb as hell and I want to go to jail. No, I didn't call any witness. That's why when I was reading the testimony, I was saying that these direct, and I'm confusing myself because I made a couple of videos where I was putting together the transcripts and I couldn't upload it successfully. So I might be confusing it with that. But since I got transcripts right in front of me, I will give you an example of what I'm saying so that anybody seeing it can actually understand and see it, because sometimes people can hear stuff, but they don't fully understand it. But when I show it to you, you can be like, oh, because a lot of people that watch y'all may not have ever seen a trial transcript in their life. So it's right here. Oh, it's his testimony. At the top of the page, can y'all see it?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Good.
All right. What do you see? What does it say at the top of the page?
It says A. Austin, People Direct. And it says A. Johnny Bunting. And then it says, could you tell the jury who? I can't read the other part. You have to go over more. Can you tell the jury who was in the car? It says other than yourself? Other than yourself? Okay.
Now, my focus was the top. A. Austin - People - Direct. That's saying that the witness is Austin. He's testifying for the people, and his testimony is direct examination. Direct examination is the first examination by that party. Mm-hmm. When the opposite party comes, the first time is cross examination. And then if the party that called him initially has to question him again, it's called redirect. And if he has to be by the defense, it's recross. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So that is saying that Mr. Austin was a witness for the people. And when you look at this, what does it say? The people of the state of New York.
Mm-hmm.
Against?
Go up a little bit. Johnny Bunting, defendant.
So that means he was testifying for them. It didn't say.
Dang. But you didn't have a lawyer for your own. You didn't have a lawyer though, right?
I had a lawyer, but all I'm saying is he wasn't a part of having conferences with my lawyer and prepping him for any testimony. Wow. Him and I speaking was my doing, calling and saying, listen, they're saying you're coming to testify. What's up? And him saying, listen, they got me under pressure. They talking about giving me a perjury charge and I don't want to go to jail. So I'm like, all right, come in and say this. If they want to give you perjury's a fine. I'll pay that. You ain't gonna do no time. If I knew that he was going to do that, I would have copped out to that 7 years that they offered me, 7 to 21. I'm like, yo, my co-defendant copped out to 6 to 18 because after he had the probable cause where he found out for certain that witnesses actually put him at the scene of the crime, he was like, yo, he had Artie, which is Alston, because we called him Artie before choke. He choked. He really choked. But that, I guess that's not the reason why he called himself that. We had Artie. We had Patricia. We had some other witnesses. And he like, yo, like, he felt he couldn't win. I felt I could because the other witness, she picked a photo of someone else and me, so it was conflicting. So it was like, that's reasonable doubt right there, as long as Choke says he ain't see me no more after the motel. See what I'm saying? So I rolled the dice.
Right.
I got out, but I rolled it.
Right. Wow.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Let me go back to about the time he did the tunnel. At the time he did the tunnel, you were also publishing books, correct? And you guys were having conversation at that time. Am I right on that?
I don't know the exact time he did the tunnel.
Okay.
But I can tell you the year that I spoke to him about it, 2002, because I'm good with the law. So I put in a motion, a family court motion, saying I wanted to get DNA of some fictitious thing, and they bought it. So they brought me back to court for that. They brought me back to court. I went back down to Rikers Island. So I was in the box. The box, you can't use a phone. So I came back down to Rikers Island. Now I can use the phone. Now I'm calling and trying to make things happen, trying to contact people, get things moving. And so I tracked him down and was like, yo, I got this screenplay. Help me to, people. I just knew he was dealing with cameras. I didn't know to what level. And so he said, write a book. When I wrote the book, I assumed that since you're telling me this, you have some contacts that I can deal with. So I wrote the book sometime after 2002, but it was years before I was able to fully finish the book, like meaning get it into actual book form. And then when I contacted him about pushing it, he was doing Rap City. So I don't know if the tunnel was already finished, right? But I know that he was that was his present project.
Okay, I gotta ask you this, fam. If you already knew that he testified on you, why did you reach back out to him at that time?
Because since he recanted his statement,
okay,
he was trying to help.
I got you.
Now let the people know what recant means. Everybody may not know what that means. That's listening.
Thank you. Recant basically means that you're switching up your testimony and saying, listen, what I said was wrong. I was coerced. I will provide copies of that too. But he's basically saying that they forced him to sign a statement that implicated me. And when he went to trial, they threatened him. And he basically said in his recanting, listen, I don't know where Johnnie was at the night, and I don't think he did it. So that was his way of trying to make up. So by him trying to make up, I'm like, well, listen, if he tried to help me, I put in a motion and lost. Now I'm like, okay, well, since he's trying to help, now you can help me make some money.
That makes sense. I got it.
Now I can make some money. I might be able to get a lawyer that can help me get the hell out.
Got you.
Definitely understood, man. Just closing down, you know what I mean, the last few, when I contact you for the interview, you said that you wanted to let the people know what you were doing, in the community, and pretty much the main reason why we have you in here. So let the people know, because that's the past. What are you doing now, and how could the people help what you're doing in the community right now that's listening?
All right. I have a car wash, 40 West Lincoln Avenue in Mount Vernon. What I do is this is my third summer coming up. I've been hiring the youth to help out. I've been training them because I went astray at 15 and ended up 17 incarcerated for 25 years, 7 months and 5 days. So I understand how important it is to be a positive influence in kids in that age frame. So if you want to help me, you can help me by frequenting my car wash and helping me to help them. Because a lot of people say they want to give back, they want to help the community, but they don't know how. You speak it, but they're like, well, listen, there's no businesses that are black for me to support. Well, I got one. Support that. I do speaking engagements. I will go to schools. I will go to churches. I will go to universities. There's a program called Strive, where it's a job readiness program for people that's a part of the DSS and they receive their little food stamps and stuff. I come there and I speak to them and I motivate them and I uplift them because that program I was a part of. I came home, I was getting food stamps. I was getting public assistance, and I went to that program and did job readiness and helped me to learn a computer and helped me to learn how to make a resume and all those things. So I'm sat there and told them, listen, I sat at the very similar desk because they moved the whole building, but I sat at similar desks that where you're at. I participated in this program. I received food stamps and all that. So let me tell you something. You need to take control, because when you have someone giving you food stamps, the government, guess what? They have control of you. A lot of these people out here in society are still bonded. They still got chains on them, and they may have never did a day in prison. And I'm telling you to break away the chains and take control of your own destiny and lift yourself up, because I've been in your same shoes and I stood up. And I started that company, and I have another company where I do landscaping, clean outs and things, residences and companies. Whereas I'm like, listen, I'm hiring you. You know how to push a broom? Come on.
That's what's up.
Appreciate that, man. That's real dope. I got one more question before we get out of here, man. It's a two-part question. One, coming out of prison 25 years later, I forgot, what did you say, 25, 7 months, 5 days, I believe you said?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to make a book or something. 25 years, 7 months, 5 days. You gonna buy it?
Yeah, those numbers stuck out to me for sure. Did you reach out to the family? Did you feel the need to reach out to the family of the man? And two, talk about mistakes and recovering from mistakes. You made a terrible mistake, I'm sure, at the time when you were being sentenced. You thought life was over. We talk about rappers all the time going through situations where they're getting thrown football numbers and we question whether or not it's over or not. You've done your time. You're still here. You're doing things for the community. So tell the people, tell the youth about how you recovered and how you rose up from your mistake, and then or first, wherever you want to go, however you want to do it. Did you reach out to the family?
I didn't reach out to the family. I don't know where they're at anyway. But that's a tough, sensitive issue. How do you go and look somebody in the face? And I took your son's life, your brother's life, your father's life over something this small. What actually was taken was 33 crack bottles at $5 value. So $165 worth of crack. So I took away your relative for $165. There's times that I went to commissary and had more money than that in my account. So how can you actually tell somebody that, look them in the eye and say, I found it important enough, or I found that big enough for me to come at him, even though my intentions wasn't to kill him. I found it important enough that I had to represent, because that's what it boiled down to. It wasn't about the number. It wasn't about the amount, the value of the crack. It was about him actually taking it from me and assaulting me. Even though at the end of the day, I prevailed, slammed them, chased the dudes off the block and all that. It was an ego thing. I was out there making money. A lot of people feared me and respected me. And I was like, well, if I take this, then what's next? Who's going to approach me next? What's going to happen next? So my penitence is I'm reaching out and I'm trying to take this one off the street, this one, steer this one in the right way, this one, because God has forgiven me, because God has given me another chance. But there's people that's out there that believe that if you take a life, you should never get another chance. So my mission is to show people that, listen, you should get another chance. If I've been forgiven enough for me to come out into society and enough for me to get on this mission, believe me, mark my words, I've touched more people in a positive way than I did in a negative way. And if you was to put my life in the scales and say, we're going to put the bad on one and the good on another, the good would outweigh the bad, even with a murder on there.
Powerful.
Definitely. Well, we definitely appreciate you, taking the time out, to come on the platform today and tell your story, to the thousands of people that's going to see this later on, man. We definitely do appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you.
Can I tell them where to reach me?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, please do. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye. All right. My YouTube page, Johnnie Bunting Jr. The Force. My Instagram, Mighty Force. My Gmail for anyone who wants me to come in and speak. You want to book me for an engagement. You want to book me to motivate. You want to book me to do entrepreneur workshop, because I do that also. JohnnieBuntingJr@gmail.com. You want to come to the car wash, because some people, I've had people come to the car wash just to talk to me. Not even, they ain't come for their car wash. They come to talk to me because I am there for the people. When you speak to me, I give off that authentic aura that, yo, listen, I'm here for you, man. Of course I want to make money, but at the end of the day, it ain't about money. When I first came home, I'm good at law. So I had settled a lawsuit. So I came home with a couple of thousand already there. I'm walking down the street, people, yo, I'm hungry, I'm this, I'm handing out $20 bills. My family was like, yo, what's wrong with you? You crazy. I was like, yo, I can make money. I couldn't get myself free. So now that I'm free, these people deserve hope. I'm giving out hope. I used to sling crack, now I sling hope. Let's make that happen.
Perfect, man. So yeah, man, once again, great interview today. I'm hope that, people can learn, from what this brother had to share with us today. We make mistakes early in life, but it's not over. You know what I mean? And hopefully, like I said, we can get something from today, man. Definitely. Yeah, man. We had to talk about a situation that happened in the past, but overall, the overall premise of this conversation is, man, retribution and bouncing back from your mistake, man. We appreciate you, Mr. Johnnie Bunting Jr., a.k.a. The Force, for coming on here and delivering your testimony, man. We appreciate you. If you have any parting words before you leave for the people, man, floor is yours, and yeah, we'll be done.
Well, shout out to the brothers and sisters in either world that support me. Shout out to King Erna, because he put me in the forefront for y'all brothers to actually be able to identify me. Scheme, I got you. Yeah, shout out to you too, because you all also jumped in there and gave me a forum to be able to give my words. But like you said, and like I said, it's more than just that incident. What do you do from this day forward? This is where I make or break myself. Y'all put me in front of thousands of people. I didn't have that stage. Now where do I go? Like people in Mount Vernon, I walk down the street in Mount Vernon sometimes and people be like, yo, what's up? Yo, you need a ride? Now, maybe I'll go somewhere else and be identified. Be like, yo, like that's the brother that helped out. I want people to look at me and want to mimic me for something good. I've been mimicked for bad, like, yo, epitome of bad. I want to be a good example now. I want to be a role model. I got a kid now, got a little girl. I want to be a role model now. I want her to be proud of me.
That's what's up, man.
All fathers do, man. Real ones do.
Yeah, no doubt, man. So you definitely, man, enjoy, the rest of your evening. We're going to get up out of here. You in New York? Where you at?
I'm in New York.
Okay, they got a little curfew thing. I don't know if they got it up there, too. They got a curfew for y'all and all that crazy mess?
Rumored that they may start it today, but I'm home already, so I ain't got to worry about it.
No doubt, man. But all right, man. Enjoy your time, man. Good luck to you. The platform's always open, man. Definitely.
Peace.
Appreciate you.
Peace. You getting? Let's see. All right, get that ad one more time. Want to get that thing rolling one more time for the people.
Get that joint in this motherfucker, man. All right, man. It's time to pay some bills. So we all know 2 out of 3 guys will experience some sort of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35. But the good news is, with today's advancements in science, Keeps offers proven treatments that can combat the symptoms of hair loss and help you keep the hair you have at half the cost of your local pharmacy.
And you don't even have to go broke to avoid going bald. Keeps offers generic versions that only 2 FDA-approved hair loss products out there. Some of you may have tried that before, but you probably never tried it at this price.
Keeps has revolutionized the way men are treated for hair loss. Thanks to Keeps, you no longer have to go to the doctor's office for your hair loss prescription. Now, you can visit a doctor online and get your hair loss medication delivered to your home. No more waiting rooms, no more pharmacy checkout lines. Get doctor attention and discreet drug delivery, all from the comfort and privacy of your own home.
Find out why Keeps has more than 5-star reviews that Keeps that any of us competitors, nearly 100,000 men trust. Keeps is the only hair loss prevention medication. For a limited time only, you can get the first month free. That's one hell of a deal you're getting to keep your hair.
Don't miss out on this opportunity. Go to keeps.com/HHU101 to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's right. Go to Keeps, KEEPS.com/HHU101.
Yeah.
Again, one more time for the people in the back, KEEPS.com/HHU101 to receive your first month of treatment for free. Don't miss out. Grab Keeps right now.
Absolutely, man. A great program today. It was powerful. You know, early on, I'm like, man, this done was, whew,
he was hitting us. He was hitting us, man.
Yeah.
And it was almost like you want to ask questions, but when the brother's going the way he's going, you can't let him stop, man. You got to let him flow.
Definitely.
We'll have, after we drop this, I guess we'll talk about the aftermath tomorrow, about what we just heard. We heard a bunch load, man. And we've been hearing it the last couple of days. We've seen what King Erner was doing, and we've been watching it, paying attention and not saying anything. Woo.